Good evening. Welcome to the February 10th, 2025 Troy City Council meeting. Please rise for our invocation and remain standing for our Pledge of Allegiance. Father in heaven, we give you thanks for this day and thanks for the many blessings you've given us here in the city of Troy. We ask that you continue to bless us all this evening across all sectors of our city, being with us, being with those in need, and protecting and guiding us. Please be with our first responders. Please be with the residents of Troy. Please be with all of us here in City Hall and the council chamber this evening, and those of us here in City Council. Be with us to help us guide, make us have good decisions, good discussion, all for the good of the city. Please be with everyone, the Lord. In his name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'll call the February 10th, 2025 Troy City Council meeting to order and ask for the roll call from Ms. Dixon.
Mayor Baker?
Here.
Councilmember Brooks?
Here.
Councilmember Chamberlain-Krenga?
Here.
Councilmember Chanda?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Gunn?
Here.
Councilmember Hamilton?
Here.
Councilmember Hoderick?
Here.
All present this evening. First up on the agenda is certificates of recognition and special presentations. We do have one this evening. C1 is a Troy Youth Assistance Annual Report presentation. That'll be presented by Carl Schmidt, TYA advisor. Welcome, Carl.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. I'm happy to be here. I was supposed to be here with our co-chair who is home with a house full of flu. So she emailed me and said, I'm sorry, but can you please do this for me? So once a year, I come back to the microphone and I like to hand out our report to you in person and to thank you in person for your continued support for Troy Youth Assistance. As you go through the report this year, you'll see that we're running at about the same level of assistance that we have been doing for the last several years. A couple of things that are new that I just want to call your attention to. We have started building a library of podcasts, and we found that in talking to high school and middle school and elementary principals, they were asking us for a resource library when parents come to them and say, I'm having difficulty with my kids with this blank, and they want to have something that we could point to and have people go to and watch on demand. So it allowed us to work with Children's Hospital and a couple other experts in the field and actually create the podcast through the help of the Creative Guild with the Troy School District. So we have students that are learning how to do all the editing, and we're starting to build this really neat library of highly qualified professionals. So really happy about that particular change in our education fund. Last year I talked to you about not having any mentors. That's like an annual thing that I also bring up. This year we're in a situation, I just want to bring it up to you since you're one of the sponsors of Troy Youth Assistance here, is the county has defunded Mentors Plus right now. And we have been working with the county trying to get them to refund that because we have no ability to train new mentors. So we have explored working with brothers and sisters, or big brothers and big sisters, but we run into insurance issues connecting with them. So we're still trying to come up with a solution. We have offered to take over the training for the county and allow Troy to train anyone else in the county, and they've said no. So we're still working on that. So just to, that is an area that we think is really critical. It's extremely effective, mentorship is, and we're very disappointed that the county has defunded that at this point. So, but beyond that, we're very happy with the level of work we've been able to do. I would be remiss if I didn't ask you for $5,000 more, like I ask every year. As I look at what we'd like to do, a natural budget for us would be $20,000 a year, and I don't discount the $15,000 that you provided. I'm very appreciative of that, but I have to ask. And if there's any opportunity to do that in the next year, we would put those funds to good use. So with that, I just turn it over to you. Does anyone have any questions for me?
Thank you, Carl. Any questions from council? Councilmember Chamberlain-Krenga.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yes.
I'm very passionate about nonprofits. I work in the philanthropic space. If I just were to ask this mentoring program, what would be the dollar amount in terms of your annual budget that you need to be able to to keep that going?
Right now, the issue is it's an insurance issue. The county, we are insured through the county for our mentors, and the county will not allow us to take over the function of training at any cost at this point.
So it's not only defunding, it's an insurance issue
Right.
that affects the, okay.
So we just had that conversation back we offered that to the county. They came back and said no, but they said if we wanted to insure everybody on our own, we could do our own training, but it wouldn't be affiliated with them. So we are going to investigate with the insurance company what that cost would be for us. I wish I had that number for you because that would actually be really helpful. But I'm fundamentally opposed to that because I think that it is a critical function for the entire county. I'm very disappointed in our county commissioners. Oakland County Youth Assistance eliminated the program a year ago. We raised a big stink with our commissioners, and they put pressure on them, and they brought it back, and then they just defunded it again. And this time the county commissioners said, well, we're open to re-examining this in the future. And it's really tied to a broader defunding of juvenile justice initiatives across Oakland County right now. There's just a systematic defunding of that function.
If I may, Carl, too, so this means other communities, I presume, have a
Yes.
form of youth assistance, and they've experienced the same thing
Yes.
that we have?
Yes, exactly. Last year, when we raised a big objection, every major youth assistance organization in the county also raised the issue. This year, I'm not sure if they've gotten pressure from the other youth assistants. We immediately raised it as soon as we saw that they had removed the person who was training and had provided no timetable as to when a new person was going to come into place to do that. So we're still working on that. It's frustrating. At some point, I might come back to you and ask for you as a sponsor to perhaps write a letter to the county to say we're not very happy about this either. It is, if you look at the research, mentorship is one of the most effective interventions we can do for at-risk youth. So the idea that Troy Youth Assistance can't assist youth with mentors is really frustrating for me as someone who's been involved with this organization for 13 years.
Thank you for sharing.
Mayor Pro Tem Gunn?
So like we talked earlier, I'm involved with the Big Brothers Big Sisters program. Can any of those children be sent to the Big Brothers?
Yes. And in fact, what more frustrating for me is we come in here and we say we can't find mentors. In the last year, we've had 3 people come to us who wanted to become mentors, and we had to send them to Big Brothers Big Sisters because we had nothing for them. And I said, go there, and then we'll have to send our kids over to Big Brothers Big Sisters. Okay. But the problem with them, with doing that, is that they have more need than supply as well. Yeah. And then we don't get priority with them, right? So once I send that mentor-elect over to Big Brothers Big Sisters, we're just in line with anybody else.
Sure. But at least the kids are getting...
But yes, I mean, absolutely. And that's what we're trying to do the right thing for the kids. But it's just frustrating. But again, because you've been such a good sponsor of this organization, I wanted to make sure that everybody in this body is aware that we're battling that issue right now.
Right. Any other questions for Carl?
All right, well, thank you very much again. Thank you for your continued support.
I appreciate you coming, Carl. Give Shari our best. Please keep us posted on the mentor issue.
I will.
If there's something we can do, certainly open to looking at it and
Great.
recognizing we're not always but they're not going to do it just because we say it. But
No,
we can
but
help,
you never know.
I'm curious. I'll reach out to our commissioners too and find out their logic behind it. I'm just kind of curious.
Great, thank you. The Board of Education already reached out to them as well in December, expressing some concerns.
Fund a lot of things. I hate to think of something being taken away from the kids.
Right,
So
exactly.
That's my concern. Thank you.
Great, thank
Appreciate
you.
it. That concludes certificates of recognition and special presentations. We have no carryover items this evening, no public hearings. I don't see that anybody signed up for public comment for items on the agenda from Troy residents and businesses, so no need for reply. We have no postponed items, so regular business is next. I-1 is board and committee appointments. There are no mayoral appointments this evening, but I'll turn it over to Mayor Pro Tem Gunn for city council appointments. He has one.
Thank you, Mayor. We have one. Resolve the Troy City Council appoints the following nominated persons to serve on the boards and committees to the Traffic Committee for the term expired on 1/31/2028. Timothy Battle.
Support.
Moved by Mayor Pro Tem Gunn, supported by Councilmember Hoderick, that we approve the appointment of Timothy Battle to the Traffic Committee for the term expiring January 31st, 2028. Any discussion? The vote, Ms. Dixon.
Mayor Baker?
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks?
Yes.
Councilmember Chamberlain Craig?
Yes.
Councilmember Chanda?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Gunn?
Yes.
Councilmember Hamilton?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoderick?
Yes.
Motion carries. I presume city management will reach out to Mr. Battle to get him up to speed before the next traffic committee meeting. Thank you. That concludes city council appointments this evening. Next up, I2 board and committee nominations. I have no mayoral nominations this evening, and it's my understanding that city council has none as well. We have no requests for closed session. So we move on to I4, 2025 city council meeting schedule, and that'll be introduced by city manager Nastasi.
Good evening. As you know, City Council held a special meeting on July 11, 2025 for our Capital Conference. Since then, staff has developed additional information on certain capital projects, and management recommends follow-up discussion with council. To facilitate this, a special meeting is proposed to provide an opportunity to further discuss these topics and these projects, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, City Manager Nastasi. Any questions from council? I'll move I4 2025 City Council meeting schedule as printed in the agenda packet.
Support.
Moved by the chair, supported by Councilmember Chanda, that we approve I4 2025 City Council meeting schedule as printed in the agenda packet. Any discussion? The vote, Ms. Dixon.
Councilmember Brooks?
Yes.
Councilmember Chamberlain Craig?
Yes.
Councilmember Chanda?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Gunn?
Yes.
Councilmember Hamilton?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoderick?
Yes.
Mayor Baker?
Yes. Motion carries. That meeting will be Monday, February 24th at 6 p.m. in the council boardroom. Looking forward to it. Thank you. That concludes regular business this evening. Next up is the consent agenda. Would anyone like to pull an item from the consent agenda for further discussion? Councilmember Hamilton.
I'd like to move all items on the consent agenda as printed in the agenda packet.
Support.
Moved by Councilmember Hamilton, supported by Councilmember Brooks, that we approve all items on the consent agenda as printed in the agenda packet. Any discussion? Councilmember Hamilton.
Thank you, Mayor. J7 is about the Rochester Road Barclay to Trinway project, and it's just kind of a secondary question, but I was just curious as I was driving down there, when is the major work on that going to begin? I know it's coming up soon, and do we have like a specific date when they're going to start blocking off the road and they're going to redo the whole road and rebuild it as a boulevard? So I'm just curious for residents when.
Yeah, I don't have the date, but we'll be pushing it out on social media. I can
Okay.
get you that information, but we want everyone to be aware so they don't get caught in that.
Sure. Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Any discussion? Other? All right. The vote, Ms. Dixon?
Councilmember Chamberlain Craig?
Yes.
Councilmember Chanda?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Gunn?
Yes.
Councilmember Hamilton?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoderick?
Yes.
Mayor Baker?
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks?
Yes.
Motion carries. If you're here for an item on the consent agenda, all have been approved this evening. Next up are memorandums and future council agenda items. There are none to announce. I don't see that anybody signed up for public comment for items not on the agenda from Troy residents and businesses. Again, no need for reply. Do have a N1 council referral. I think it's actually an advanced council comment, so we bounced around a little bit. So there's no action to be taken, but just announcing the state of the city will be May 7th, 2025. Place and to be determined. So next up are reports. Any comments on any of the reports? Not many. Always like to see the letters of appreciation. It's good. Council comments then.
I'll make a
Councilmember
comment.
Brooks.
Thank you, Mayor. Happy Black History Month. It is February, so I always say that every February. I also wanted to take the time to highlight something that takes place every year, but it's a wonderful service for our seniors and other members of our community. At the community center and with the Troy Seniors, Friends of Troy Seniors, and the AARP, they do work to do tax aid and e-filing for members of our community. So it's something that is really nice. This is a free service that takes place every year. And you can make appointments online or call the Friends of Troy Seniors. And so I hope people can take advantage of this because this is something that's really nice that happens every year for our members.
Thank you. Any other council comments? Councilmember Hamilton?
I think you're going to cover this, Mayor, but I just wanted to mention, in my 7+ years on council, I've noticed how students would always come to council and, share their Monday night here to learn about how their city government works. And the teacher that pushed them to come here our whole time here and years before was Mr. DeSantis from Athens. And we learned earlier today that suddenly he passed away this morning. And so all of us on council, especially those who have served many years and have seen those students come, we've seen him come here too. So many of us have been invited to his classroom, but just his sudden loss is devastating to the Athens and Troy community. And just, I give my condolences to his family, and he'll be greatly missed.
Thank you. Councilmember Chamberlain-Cranger?
Thank you, Mayor. It also makes me think of something. We have snow coming, and it's a difficult time for driving. And I'm reminded of one of my dear friends in high school who passed away, no fault of her own, but in a tragic, tragic car accident on icy roads. So on a positive note, it's Valentine's Day, and it was this exact time of year, and it reminded me afterwards. We often think of Valentine's Day as for either couples or for kids. But I remember after that tragic accident, wanting to write Valentines to just my friends and just teachers and to appreciate them. And so I want to encourage us. Valentine's is this Friday, but it's a chance to also just say thank you. Thank you to all of those who made a difference in your life, and that I appreciate you. And I appreciate that you are a part of my life. So just want to call that out, and especially mindful of what Councilmember Hamilton, those of us with kids in the school district received that note today. On another note, with the snow coming, we have 2 storms. I wanted to ask city management how the new ordinance around plowing and moving cars, how is that going? Are folks, have we run into any challenges? Are folks seeing the social media and moving their cars? And anything you'd want to say as a lot of snow is expected to come this week?
As far as I know, we haven't had a lot of snow as of yet, but with the snow coming, we would put the information out so everyone knows. And the police department's on board with issuing warnings since this is the first year. So we'll get that information out. We'll be issuing warnings, and hopefully our DPW crew will be able to hit all the streets and the side streets in an efficient, timely manner so everyone can get to work and to where they need to go.
Okay. But no complaints so far?
So
People-
far, I haven't heard of any complaints, which is a good thing.
And I know the idea was to give grace. It's something new. It's a new ordinance, and so to not be.
I don't think there's been a
don't
snow
think we had
emergency.
any.
They haven't actually
Guess we
declared
haven't
it,
had
so-
enough snow so far.
Yeah.
Okay, so this may be
We'll
the
see
first.
maybe this week if we get any complaints, but I doubt it, especially, giving out warnings. People understand this is something new, and we give everyone time to acclimate and understand, what's needed from the public, so.
And we can get out and share with our neighbors as well.
Are people signing up for the alerts? Because I know that we did a lot of proactive work on social media to
I would
get
have to
people.
ask Kurt?
Kurt's
Yes,
nodding,
Kurt's
so-
giving us a nod, so that's a
nodding,
good
so
sign.
yes.
Thank you, Kurt.
Maybe you can remind how, is that a 4-inch is the threshold that when we do the,
I believe so. Come on up.
we're getting those questions now, I mean, that's
Yeah.
because we've been talking to people.
No, this is good. I want people to hear all
Yeah.
this. They're great questions.
This, of course, means there will be about an inch of snow that comes
Yeah.
on the big storm. That's what everything's having, so. like-
So Troy is 67% confidence that it's going to be over 4 inches right now. So National Weather Service is predicting 67% confidence it's going to be over 4 inches. Yes, City Manager Nastasi is correct. We have not had enough snow to issue a snow emergency quite yet. We are prepared to do so with that announcement. And it would be if we go into local roads, we'll declare that snow emergency. 4 inches is our threshold. However, this particular storm, they're saying it could be some sleet in there. So we do have the flexibility to go into those local roads if we don't have a accumulation of 4 inches. If it's real slippery, we'll go in. And of course, we'll take into consideration the next storm coming in on Saturday and making those decisions. It's a very expensive operation. That's why we don't do it very often, and we have those thresholds. It's about $120,000 operation when we go in and do those local roads, but also understanding the importance of that. So we'll go in when necessary.
Councilmember Hoderick, since Kurt's up here, I can tell you to ask.
It's our opportunity to get our DPW information going here. The tracker is still, we still provide that online too, where people can see when their neighborhood is next and when it's gotten done, and it would be rotating, but we haven't had to do a lot of rotating yet this year, right?
Right, thanks for the tee-up. Yes, the tracker, the local road tracker is still available when we go into local roads. And just as a reminder, we do the northwest corner always first. That's always first because of the hills up there. Those sections always get first. And then we do rotate. And we keep very good record, so we know exactly who was first last year, the last time we plowed. So we'll make sure it's rotated accordingly. That information you can find at the city's website, going to the DPW page. When that map is live, there'll be a link right on there.
Mayor Pro Tem Gunn?
When there's a snow emergency like this, does that affect trash pickup?
Typically not. We're not supposed to get the 8 inches to our neighbors to the north are. If we were to get 8 inches, we would be working with Tringali and seeing if they had to delay or not. So, but anyway, 4 to 6 inches, usually there's no delay. But if there was, we'll make sure that we announce that everywhere on social media.
All right.
Yep.
This conversation's guaranteed that it'll be an inch. I'm
Yeah,
telling
right,
you. I'm pretty sure we've done it. Anyway, any other questions for Kurt? Thank you. Any other council comments? Councilor Chanda?
So I just heard the passing away of Mr. DeSantis. That's very sad news because we see the children coming here every Monday morning or Monday, council meeting. So that reminds us how fragile our life is. I wanted to share some good news on the school front. Our council member Hoderick and I attended the concert gala, their annual gala of the Tri-High Symphonic Band, and it was really a symphonic orchestra. And their director, Wendy Stewart, was just got the award for the Teacher of the Year by the Michigan chapter of American String Teachers Association. So that is a wonderful honor for her, and congratulations to her. But it's a wonderful program, so it is nice to see the community coming together and celebrating. It was a fundraiser, but it is also celebrating their musical talent. So it's a wonderful event that we all enjoyed. So wanted to share something positive.
Thank you. That is a great annual event. I wanted to just touch on Mr. DeSantis' passing. I'm political scientist first, and I know how much he loved government and loved sharing with his students the importance of our government and how fragile democracy can be and how wonderful it can be and how boring city council meetings can be. I think hundreds of students have been in here thinking, wow, and then some of them have been enlightened by things that have happened that didn't even realize what can happen in this city hall. And I credit Mr. DeSantis for a lot of that, because I know, I'm thinking just fairly recently, Councilmember Hoderick was speaking with some students who were here, and they were just fascinated that something we were talking about had happened. And there are times when there's city staff in here and government students from Mr. DeSantis only for some of our council meetings. And it was, that tradition will continue, I'm sure. I can only imagine how the Athens community is feeling. It's their charity week on top of it, so it's a very charged atmosphere anyway, and to have something like this happen to somebody who was so beloved in their community has got to be causing them some conflicting feelings with all that's going on. But I, of course, really appreciated what Mr. DeSantis did for our community by essentially compelling students to learn about local government. That's just from this perspective. I know he was way more than that to so many other people. But I'm grateful for what he's done, and I can't imagine how his family's feeling, and our hearts are with them and our prayers. And certainly I was comforted to know that the school district has put their crisis response team in place for anybody that's needing some extra mental health discussions or just someone to talk to. As a person who grew up with an often difficult household, sometimes my teachers were the most consistent in my life, and I'm certain Mr. DeSantis was that for certain students at Athens over the years. So I hope everybody is getting the comfort and having the conversations they need is basically it. So thank you, Mr. DeSantis, and God bless you and your family. We talk about the fragility of life and everything that's going on. It is a scary world sometimes, and things happen when we least expect it. So send your Valentines to your friends and loved ones. Give an extra hug or a text to somebody you haven't talked to in a while, but maybe need to, and just know that life can change really fast. So that's a terribly depressing way to end this council comment session, but it's a fact of life, and I'm grateful to have each day, and I know we all are, and it's really important that we do our best to appreciate these moments. So, okay. We don't have anybody signed up for public comment for items on or not on the agenda for members of the public outside of Troy, and we have no closed session. So with that, we're adjourned.